day 3 at Cassien. Just got a break in the rain, so just wanted to talk briefly about rigs and what we've been using so far this trip. Nothing caught so far. We seem to be in a decent area, one of the favoured areas of the lake for this time of year, in the west arm, just approaching the out of bounds, or the spawning areas. So whether it's going to be bait and wait or whether we're going to be out and about chasing them around for the remainder of the time we've got, I'm not entirely sure yet. There's not a lot of fish showing. There's not a lot to go on, there's not a lot of fish being caught. So I think it's going to be sticking something out, bait and wait, or we need to go and find them. But whatever, we'll see. We've got plenty of time left and hoping to catch a few as yet. Rig-wise, one of 2 rigs we're using, both based on the same principle, just slightly different hook length material. The first one, using Hydralink Extreme, just a real simple D rig on the end. You can see the little hinge in the end as well, quite a bit of movement, just to keep that nice and flexible, so hopefully when a fish picks it up. Hydralink Extreme, really tough, 20 pound fluorocarbon inner, running through the middle of that, makes it very stiff. You can see that kind of holds up a size 2 hook with no problem at all, complete with a bit of jewellery on the end. So very stiff material, very hard wearing, very abrasion resistant, which is absolutely imperative when you're fishing a lake like this. Some of the snags, some of the drop-offs, the rocky outcrops, it's just absolutely savage. It's a really unique environment, and your gear's got to be absolutely up to it. So far, this has been absolutely bomb-proof. Just bring on to the lead system that we're actually using here. Just simple ring clip, the free-fall lead clips. Really interesting using these on a venue like this. You spend a lot of time out in the boat trying to get your end tackle back. Due to the topography of the place, the rocks, huge amount of underwater snags, tree stumps, everything else that goes on here. Again, it's quite unique, these big French venues, like nothing we've actually got anywhere in the UK. Good thing about the free-fall clips, you spend a lot of time getting lead snagged in particular. They'll catch between rocks where you're reeling in. You might be unlucky to drop them into a little crevasse or something similar. You spend a lot of time getting the leads actually snagged. And one of the things I've found when you actually get over the top of these in a boat, due to the slot in the top of the clip there and the way that the swivel actually fits in it, even if your lead's absolutely jam solid, if you can get over the top of it in a boat, and if you can actually pull it back the other way, you can actually pull the swivel straight out of the actual clip itself. Much like when a fish takes it, really useful to have here. Means you lose a lot less end tackle than you might otherwise, and these things have been absolute lifesavers on this trip. At least 4 or 5 times so far. I'm going out in the boat, literally wrapping a leader around the end of an oar, potentially pulling for a break, and 9 times out of 10 these little beauties, the swivels will just pop straight out of those clips, lose your lead, you get your end tackle back. Particularly when you're fishing days only, you don't want to be wasting time, you do not want to be having to retackle rods and take everything back out again and blah. It's just wasting time on a venue like this. So the fact you can actually do that 9 times out of 10, you will get your gear back and you just need another clip in the lead. It is absolutely superb. They're worth their weight in gold on a venue like this. Just as evidence of what I was saying, on another clip around about the snags you can get on a venue like this, it's quite important to balance your tackle. And by balance it, what I mean is you need to know something that's going to go first. I see a lot of people fishing this place with meat hooks, basically. I'm quite sad in the way that I test my gear. A lot of the time at home, a lot of the venues I fish in the UK are quite snaggy, wild venues. So you've got to know your gear's strong, you've got to know it's up to it. So before I came here, did some tests utilising the low-tech method of a fence post and a rolling pin. And exactly what happens in those tests actually happened here yesterday. And that is, that happens. So you can just see that. That's a size 2 hook, again, bit of a meat hook. It's practically opened out. Like I said, the D rig on the end of it has split as well. And that basically happened in a snag. I got a feeling it was probably it's one of the many sunken tree stumps you get in the place that are sticking out the bottom. The hook's been unlucky enough to hook into it on the retrieve last night, bring the rods back in, got over the top of it, pulled it out. You could feel the lead bouncing up and down, so you knew it wasn't the lead that was snagged. I'd just seen a fish go in front of my mate. That's probably one of the first ones I've seen all day. lucky man, it looks like he's in the right spot and I'm not. So I was saying we'll go on the fence post and the rolling pin, the sort of thing I test before I come to a venue like this. Get your hook length, get it set up, get your leaders on there, get your knots on there, go and hook that into a fence post and pull it as hard as you can and see what breaks first. You don't want to be losing a whole load of end tackle, you don't want to be snapping off on leader knots, you don't want to be snapping off anywhere else. If anything you want to break, believe it or not, you want it to be that. It's a size 2 hook, it'll cope with almost anything that swims. And with the tackle that you've got, it's absolutely invaluable again, getting all of your end gear back and not having to re-tackle all the time. The remainder of the setup we're using, same as you would in the UK, Link Tech leader, very flexible, very strong, very abrasion resistant. It is more than up to the challenges of a venue like this. And then I've like my braided main line, been using it even in the UK for years. Here, due to the topography again, you've got to use something else. Braid on sharp rocks normally isn't the best thing in the world. So what I do is I normally fish this. The FLX in £35. Use normally about 3 rod lengths of that, coming down to the Link Tech leader from the main line. What that gives you is a lot more abrasion resistant for the kind of underwater obstacles you're going to encounter on a venue like this. So the edges of rocks and so on, this will take a lot more punishment than even a very good braided mainline. I've been using Power Pro in £30 for years and it's stood up to almost anything you can throw at it. But even £30 Power Pro versus this on the end of a rocky outcrop, this will take a lot more punishment. It's also got a nice bit of stretch in it as well, which helps when you're bringing a fish to the net. Those last couple of lunges, it's nice to have a bit of elasticity, just in case you might do something that pops a hook out, fish turns at the last minute. Overall, it's been absolutely bomb-proof so far, absolutely bomb-proof, which again is needed on these venues.